Newfoundland and Labrador issues over 200 invitations to PNP and AIP candidates. Canada's immigration system continues to stay in the spotlight with a series of important updates. From provincial invitations in Newfoundland and Labrador to multiple express entry draws and debates over work permit numbers, recent developments highlight how active and competitive the immigration landscape remains in 2025. If you are interested in this topic, please pay attention and watch the video through to the end to get all the information. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. Newfoundland and Labrador issued 202 invitations to apply for provincial immigration to candidates through the Newfoundland and Labrador Provincial Nominee Program and the Atlantic Immigration Program. Of these 202 ITAs issued on August 29, 125 were distributed to candidates of the NLPNP, while the remaining 77 invitations were issued to AIP candidates. August 29 draw details. The table below shows the breakdown of ITAs from the three most recent immigration draws conducted by Newfoundland and Labrador's Office of Immigration and Multiculturalism. The NLPNP does not specify which streams of its PNP these ITAs were issued through. Since May of this year, the NLPNP has held 2 draws each month. The majority of ITAs through these draws have been delivered to NLPNP candidates. ITA requirements. Per the Newfoundland and Labrador government page, individuals wishing to immigrate to the province through the NLPNP or AIP will need to have a job or job offer from an employer in the province. Expressions of interests that align with the labor market needs and ongoing interests of Newfoundland and Labrador will be prioritized for ITAs. NLPNP candidates who are selected will get an email notifying them of the ITA. In response, they can submit a complete application for provincial nomination through their Immigration Accelerator portal account. Through the AIP, designated employers will receive an email notification of the ITA, and the employer will also obtain an ITA confirmation letter via the Immigration Accelerator portal. The employer can then apply to the province for endorsement of the job offer. Note that all immigration candidates, except for those already in Canada and applying solely through the NLPNP, will need to be issued an invite code by their employer before being able to submit an EOI. Background on the Newfoundland and Labrador immigration. Newfoundland and Labrador's current provincial nomination allocation stands at 2,525 spaces, through both the NLPNP and the AIP. In February of this year, the Newfoundland and Labrador government announced an increase to their provincial nomination allocation, allowing the OIM to nominate 1,000 more foreign nationals to immigrate to the province. The province's allotment for endorsements through the AIP remained set at 475. The NLPNP also transitioned to an EOI system, joining the rest of Canada's PNPs in creating a 2-step, candidate-applicant, intake system. Express entry 4,500 candidates invited in third draw of the week. Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada has issued more invitations to apply through the express entry system. The Immigration Department issued 4,500 ITAs in a draw for candidates with proficiency in French. To be considered in this draw, candidates needed to have a minimum comprehensive ranking system score of 446, and created an express entry candidate profile before 7:21 a.m. Universal Coordinated Time on June 16, 2025. Summary of express entry draws in 2025. September 3, Canadian Experience Class, 1,000 ITAs, CRS cutoff, 534. September 2, Provincial Nominee Program, 249 ITAs, CRS cutoff, 772. August 19, Healthcare and Social Services, 2,500 ITAs, CRS cutoff, 470. August 18, Provincial Nominee Program, 192 ITAs, CRS cutoff, 800. August 8, French Language Proficiency, 2,500 ITAs, CRS cutoff, 481. August 7, Canadian Experience Class, 1,000 ITAs, CRS cutoff, 534. August 6, Provincial Nominee Program, 225 ITAs, CRS cutoff, 739. July 22, Healthcare and Social Services, 4,000 ITAs, CRS cutoff, 475. July 21, Provincial Nominee Program, 202 ITAs, CRS cutoff, 788. July 8, Canadian Experience Class, 3,000 ITAs, CRS cutoff, 518. July 7, Provincial Nominee Program, 356 ITAs, CRS cutoff, 750. June 26, Canadian Experience Class, 3,000 ITAs, CRS cutoff, 521. June 23, Provincial Nominee Program, 503 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 742. June 12, Canadian Experience Class, 3000 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 529. June 10, Provincial Nominee Program, 125 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 784. June 4, Healthcare and Social Services, 500 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 504. June 2, Provincial Nominee Program, 277 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 726. May 13, Canadian Experience Class, 500 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 547. May 12, Provincial Nominee Program, 511 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 706. May 2, Healthcare and Social Services, 500 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 510. May 1, Education, 1000 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 479. April 28, Provincial Nominee Program, 421 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 727. April 14, Provincial Nominee Program, 825 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 764. March 21, French Language Proficiency, 7,500 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 379. March 17, Provincial Nominee Program, 536 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 736. March 6, French Language Proficiency, 4,500 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 410. March 3, Provincial Nominee Program, 725 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 667. February 19, French Language Proficiency, 6,500 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 428. February 17, Provincial Nominee Program, 646 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 750. February 5, Canadian Experience Class, 4,000 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 521. February 4, Provincial Nominee Program, for 55 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 802. January 23, Canadian Experience Class, 4,000 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 527. January 8, Canadian Experience Class, 1,350 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 542. January 7, Provincial Nominee Program, for 71 ITAs, CRS Cutoff, 793. Today's Express Entry draw is the third of the week and month, and follows a Canadian Experience Class on September 3, a Provincial Nominee Program draw on September 2, and a category-based selection for healthcare and social services workers on August 19. Thus far, IRCC has issued 62,109 ITAs through the Express Entry system in 2025. Express Entry draws this year have primarily focused on PNP draws, with the remainder of Express Entry ITAs dedicated to CEC candidates, candidates with French language proficiency, and those in the Express Entry priority occupation categories. https://www.cicnews.com//have work permits under the Temporary Foreign Worker Program surpass target SASPLE via reclaims HTML. Show website. Canada Work Permits. Temporary Foreign Worker Program. Pierre Poilievre. Have work permits under the Temporary Foreign Worker Program surpassed targets, as Poilievre claims? Pierre Poilievre has claimed that the federal government has issued work permits in excess the planned cap for 2025. But the figures presented to support this claim are misleading. In a statement published on the Conservative Party website, the party writes that Carney's government has issued 105,000 new temporary foreign worker permits in the first 6 months of 2025 alone. Despite a promised cap of 82,000, the Liberals are on track to issue the most TFW permits ever. The figure of 82,000 comes from the federal government's annual immigration levels plan, and represents not a cap, but rather an intended target for net new arrivals under the TFWP throughout 2025, that is, new foreign nationals entering Canada on work permits. The purpose of the 82,000 target is to limit the growth in Canada's temporary resident population. The 105,000 permits issued from January-June 2025, according to the federal government's data on OpenGov, are inclusive of all permits, including extensions or renewals of existing permits, as well as the issuance of work permits to foreign nationals already in Canada. In fact, only 33,722 TFWP work permits issued were to new workers entering the country, or roughly 41% of the 82,000 target for 2025, according to data posted by Lena Diab, Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship on September 3. Decline in temporary resident arrivals in 2025. Changes to immigration programs which began in January of 2024 have been having their intended effects in reducing temporary resident levels. Earlier this month, data revealed that new worker arrivals have in fact declined by 50% in 2025. In the period between January and June 2025, Canada welcomed 125,903 fewer foreign workers as compared to the same period in 2024, according to government data. In 2024, the government announced its aim to reduce the number of temporary residents in Canada to 5% of Canada's overall population by the end of 2026. In order to do so, the government introduced several changes to the TFWP over the course of 2024. Reducing LMIA validity period from 12 months to 6 months. Reducing the workforce cap for employers on TFWP workers from 30% to 20%, except in selected high-priority sectors like construction and healthcare. Within the low-wage stream of the TFWP, reducing the workforce cap from 20% to 10%, and limiting the maximum employment duration from 2 years to 1 year. A moratorium on the processing of low-wage LMIA applications in census metropolitan areas with an unemployment rate of 6% or higher. Increasing the minimum wage threshold for employers looking to hire through the TFWP's high-wage stream by 20% above the provincial/territorial median hourly wage. Making it compulsory for job offers to be assessed. Employers are no longer able to use attestations from professional accountants or lawyers to prove business legitimacy. Identify the correct stream. The Temporary Foreign Worker Program has several streams, and it's important to identify which stream a company is hiring under. Ensure they meet requirements. Companies are not allowed to apply for an LMIA if they are found non-compliant for the TFWP rules, particularly if they have a history of not meeting their responsibilities as an employer under the TFWP. Meet the recruitment requirements. Employers have to advertise the job for a fixed period. They must also post an ad on the Government of Canada's Job Bank and at least 2 additional methods that target Canadians. In short, they must show that they made genuine effort to hire a Canadian or permanent resident first. Those that meet the requirements can prepare an LMIA application and pay the processing fee. What's next for the TFWP? Prime Minister Mark Carney was recently asked about the role of the TFWP in light of Pierre Poilievre's criticism. He acknowledged that the government is still assessing how well the program is functioning, leaving the door open to possible reforms. But Carney also defended the program, stressing that temporary foreign workers are not the primary driver of immigration, which is shaped by a variety of other factors. When I talk to businesses around the world, especially in Quebec but elsewhere across the country, their number 1 issue is tariffs and their number 2 issue is access to temporary foreign workers, he added, suggesting no immediate plans to do away with the program. This video underlined Canada's evolving approach to immigration, balancing labor market needs, provincial priorities, and national policies. For candidates and observers alike, staying informed is key as opportunities and challenges continue to emerge in the months ahead. That is all for today, in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully, the information is useful to you. See you later, in the next video. Till then, take care.